All right, obviously a lot of, well not a lot, but a few new faces out there on the ice. How would you, with the changes that happened in the last 24 hours, how would you describe tonight's win?
I thought it was a great win. Really happy for Nathan Lawson especially. I'm sure he felt lots of pressure and hasn't played in a long time. And it's different for goalies than it is for everybody else. So it's hard for players, but it's even harder for the goalies. So I was really happy for him, and he came up real big for us, especially in the third with the penalty kills. And your goalie's always going to be your best penalty killer, so he was great. The new guys all played well, and the thing that I talked about before the game was I'm not too concerned because the luxury that we had this year with the training camp and exhibition games, and we had all these players here with us at some point at the beginning of the year, exhibition games, or through the year, with whether it's practice or games. So they all just fit in well, and they know the guys, and they know me, and they know the systems, and they played very well tonight. And I thought the guys that maybe were on the cusp to get a chance to go up to Ottawa for a training camp, if they expanded it to be a bigger one, there's always disappointment there, but I thought those guys shook it off well, and that's a good sign of a pro, and it's another step in the right direction for them, and they really stepped it up a notch tonight for us.
To have to replace 7 guys, and you touched on it a little bit, right in the middle of the heart of the season, you know, how much of a luxury was it that you knew some of the guys who had come up and they had been here before, and kind of, even if it was training camp a long time ago, but they knew who they were playing with?
Yeah, that's definitely a plus for us this year. If there was any plus out of the lockout, it was for our league to have that training camp and a full kind of exhibition schedule, and to have players in our system that should be probably at this level, that has to go down a level, play with us at times. So it helps us out, but I know every team's probably in the same boat. But we have a real good, I think, number in the depth chart right now in the whole organization, and that includes not just Ottawa but us. So it showed tonight.
Defense took a big hit for you guys with 3 starters going after 3 main Tods. Talk a little bit about how the guys who filled in the defense played tonight.
Without Eric Greiba is a guy that probably was real close to being asked to go up there, but I know Ottawa wants to keep a small camp. So I'm sure there must be some disappointment in him, but he's been a leader. He's one of our captains all year, and he really showed that tonight. He was big for us tonight in all departments, not just scoring a goal and an empty netter, but physical. He's been physical lately, and a lot of nets, and just a lot of great plays. He was a leader for us tonight, and that's what we needed him to be, and he was.
All the goals scored tonight came from players that have been down here all season. So the new guys not really cracking the score sheet much. But what did you see from them that we can expect going forward?
Well, Jack Downing up front, he's a big, strong player, and he's big, and he can play real well, I think, especially with Grant and Dzinski on a big line that can check teams, but also can make plays and score goals. So he was really good, and he gives us energy out there, and he's got a great attitude. And on defense, we had Freddie Kleisen inserted back in, which he was here, and he's been real strong lately, so we're not concerned with that. And Danny New, and it was his first game with us, and Ben Blood, I think, was his 5th game with us, so it's just going to get better and better, and they didn't play probably as much as some of the other guys tonight, but we want that to grow and get better, and it's just a matter of time. But they're good young players that want to get better, and they have that in them, so that's just a positive for us. And then in net, we have Nathan Lawson, who's been here most of the year, pretty much the whole year with us, and I was really happy again for him to get the win, and he played very solid for us. And then we have Mark Chevy up, backing him up, and he's a good goaltender. He got a win last night in Elmira in overtime, so we're hoping that he just brings that success up here.
The last week, you guys have had some trouble getting a lot of shots on net. You were outshot, still getting wins, but getting outshot. What was different the past couple of games that enabled you guys to get more shots on goal?
We've talked about it, and we've succeeded at it sometimes, but I think we're pretty good the last 2 games. Is straight lines against teams, driving the net, driving the D back, and even if it's a bad angle, putting pucks on net, and if we're pushing D's back and driving the net, you get the odd rebound that comes back to you, and it really results in 2 shots. And that was what you saw in the first goal tonight. And it was a great effort by Pajot and Jessman, but then Cowick driving the net, and he got the rebound and put it in.
You mentioned earlier how difficult it is and how Lawson hasn't really played that much. And, goaltenders are creatures of habit, and they need some rhythm. What did you expect out of him, knowing that he hasn't played, I don't think, since that 6-5 loss to Syracuse a couple months ago?
It was probably it was real tough on him that night. It was a tough situation, and our whole team kind of just fell apart, and obviously the goalie takes the brunt of it. But I think what it was is he had enough time, so much time to surpass that he's gotten over. Everybody's gotten over, and we've got better as a team. He's probably got stronger mentally as a person because he's had time to kind of just put it away on the shelf and work on his game. And he's been great. He's been great the last week, knowing this day is going to come, working on things in practice, trying to get ready. It's hard to do it. Like I said, as a goaltender, you can't replace game time. But he really was focused today. I could see it in his eyes all day, and before the game and in between periods. So he was big for us tonight, and we're real happy for him.
At one point, I think you mentioned that you didn't think too many people were going up to training camp, and then at one point there were a lot more names. How did you deal with that back and forth? I'm only going to lose a couple versus only going to lose a lot, and then the final number.
Well, we knew that. I talked to Tim Murray quite a bit, and things were changing at all times, and it was hard to get any answers on even when things were going to start for them. And then we knew it was going to come quick, and decisions were going to have to be made, and the ultimate decision is what it was, and 7 players went up, and we're very happy for them, and that's what they deserve. And there's guys that probably even deserve it that didn't go up, but that's the way the game goes, and they got to keep plugging to get their shot. And you know what? We talked about it openly. We didn't want to not talk about it, and then it'd be kind of the elephant in the room. And we didn't want to make it an issue where guys were grumbling underneath. We just were open about it. We said it is what it is, and the guys that are here, you got to keep pushing. And Paul McLean made it very clear that whoever's playing best in the organization is going to be playing up there. So it was a lesson for the guys that got called up. It was a warning, I guess, for them to make sure they go give it their best, because if they're not going, and even some of the veterans that are up there aren't going, he's going to call and say who's the best down here. And when he does that, the message to everybody here is make sure that you can say that your name is the best playing down here.
Talk a little bit about having Mika back out there tonight. He didn't hit the score sheet, but it had to be a big lift for everybody.
Yeah, I think especially for himself. Mika's been, unfortunately, a lot of unrelated hockey injuries with wisdom teeth being pulled, and then throat virus, and then stomach flu, and just knocked the crap out of him and really set him back physically. And as a young guy, and we just made sure we had bodies here. We let him get the time, get the rest, and I thought he skated very well. He's been skating for a while and then practicing the last week, and I thought he shot the puck. He was dangerous tonight. He didn't get on the score sheet, but I think it was a real big step for him in the right direction, and he had a smile on after the game. So pretty happy for him to get back and healthy, and it was a big boost for him, I think.
Just quickly, how's Hamilton progressing?
Good, same. He was right behind Mika, so I think we're looking at Wednesday or this weekend for Lacey if things keep get better, and he's excited to be back in the league.
What was his issue?
He had I don't know if it's an neck strain or